All right, so today we are going to be talking about food storage. So just real quick, I just want to throw this out there. There is a lot more to food storage than what we're going to cover today, but I want to just cover long-term food storage today. So if you're interested in short-term, I would love to do another one of these sometime, but I figure covering both right now is a lot. It's a lot, it's a lot, it's a lot. So we're going to do long-term. My goal is for you to eat what you store and store what you eat. I'm sure you have heard that before. That's a very common, popular catchphrase these days. But I really, there's so much merit to this statement. And I want you to think about that today and forever. You want to be storing what you will eat, what you're used to eating. So short term that we're not covering today is your relatively short stuff that's in your pantry that you don't do anything to extend the shelf life. Your boxes of rice, your canned goods, your whatever you've got in your pantry, even fridge and freezer can be your short-term stuff. Long-term is what we're focusing on today, and that is the longer shelf life, typically anywhere from 1 to 30 years. Honestly, I don't consider 1 year long-term. It would be because that stuff's in my pantry, you know? So this is the stuff that definitely has a longer shelf life than what you buy at the grocery store. Unless you're in Utah, from what I hear, they sell food storage at the grocery store, which is crazy. Okay, so both your short-term and your long-term storage require sacrifice, and both of them are 100% worth the sacrifice. You're literally going to eat this stuff one day. So it's worth it, right? And I think that's a common misconception about long-term food storage. It's like, well, we might not ever use it. Well, but you can if you're storing normal stuff that you would eat anyway. You will eventually be able to rotate it and it won't be gross. It won't be weird. You won't have to completely change your diet and everyone gets diarrhea because, you know, you're living on beans, rice, and wheat. So there's definitely a place for those in your food storage, but you want to think kind of more broadly. Like, I want to eat this food. That's the goal. So that you're not just throwing it away after 25 years. You actually will eat this stuff. It's really, you know, that's the goal. So long-term food storage is what we're covering today. My number one tip, if you take nothing else away from today, my number one tip is to not get hung up on having a perfect plan before you start, because history has shown that you don't start, because there isn't one way to do this. There isn't a perfect plan. There isn't someone who can wave their magic wand and tell you exactly what you're going to need 10 years from now when you actually eat it, or 15 years from now, or 6 months from now. It's just something that ebbs and flows with your life, with your lifestyle, with your family. So you are going to spend way too long trying to figure this out, and you could have been accumulating food that entire time. So I want to encourage you to jump in and just start. And I'm going to talk to you about how to do that. And you will have a lot of food before you would have created a plan. So I want to talk real quick just about a couple of notes before we get into the actual food. And one of those is space. Where are you going to put this? Because as you accumulate food storage, it's not going to just fit in your normal pantry. So do not use your garage. That's my number one thing. Don't use your garage unless it is climate controlled, or I guess there are some places that the weather is just awesome all year round and you really don't need to worry about that. But I think most of us need to worry about that. This is an investment and it is expensive. You're buying food. So keep your toilet paper in the garage. Keep your anything else in the garage. I promise you, you can find things that are in your house that don't need to be climate controlled, and you just need to rearrange your thinking a little bit and keep those items in your garage so that you make space in your home for your food. I really can't stress that enough. So don't use your garage. Here are just some ideas to get you going. If you have a storage room, if you are so lucky to have a basement with like a cold storage room, that's amazing. Most of you probably know by now, I live in California. We do not have a basement. I've got 3 kids in 1 bedroom. I mean, we're tight on space. Our house is fine, but we are tight on space. So we have to get a little bit more creative than just throwing it in the basement in a cold storage room. So we use our under the stairs closet. We put stuff under beds. Because of that, I have purchased bed risers that are really cheap on Amazon, and they lift your bed higher so that you can fit more under there, and a bed skirt covers it up nicely. Closets, you know, the top shelves in the closet that nobody can reach anyway, I use those for food storage. If you have a guest room, that's another great place to, you know, utilize that closet, because usually that closet isn't used. So those are just some ideas to help you keep it out of your garage. I know that the question will come up, how much does the shelf life decrease if I do keep it in my garage? There is no formula. There really isn't. And you're not going to find, from what I've seen, you're not going to find any answers on Google that will really tell you like, oh, okay, if you keep it in the garage, you can take off X amount of years from your shelf life. They just say don't do it. It decreases the nutritional value. It affects the taste. It affects the longevity of the food, all of that stuff. So keep it inside when at all possible. And that's another reminder, don't keep it in your garage. I really didn't want to forget that. Okay, I'm going to run through a few methods because I don't want you to think that buying food storage in cans I just turned and you can see the mess behind me. I don't want you to think that food storage in cans is the only food storage that you can think about here. It's the one that we're going to focus on today, but I do want to recognize that there are other things, and I use those other things. I use other methods. So there's canning. This is a method that I don't do. A lot of people do it and it works beautifully. I don't. I've just never gotten into it, but this is an option, and there's two types here that I have up on the screen. There's Mylar bags. I do use this method. Like, that's a picture of Mylar bags on my own kitchen counter. Those are mine. I did those. I do use Mylar bags. I think that they are a great option. Again, I'd love to do a quick webinar on this, or a, tutorial or something if you guys are interested. All you need is Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers. There's no like equipment required. So that's really nice. It's a very affordable way. You just can't do fresh produce, right? So this has its limits, but for dried goods, it's a really great option. Bucketing. I have a time lapse over here just to, keep you engaged. So bucketing is another thing that I obviously do. This is my husband and me doing this in our living room. It's helpful if you have two people, so that one person can pour the stuff and the other person can do the oxygen absorbers. Because if you haven't worked with oxygen absorbers before, as soon as they hit air, they start working, which is really good. They're doing their job. But because they start working immediately, you want to use them and get it sealed up quickly. So there is like there's a time clock once you open the oxygen absorbers. Anyway, we can go through that another day, but I do want to recognize that's another really great way to do your dried goods. Dehydration and freeze drying is what you would use for anything that you couldn't bucket or Mylar bag. So it's going back to the canning idea. And dehydration circulates hot, dry air around the food, and it removes most of the water. It removes about 90% from the food. And this is what it typically looks like. The food kind of shrivels and curls, and it's usually pretty hard and crunchy. Freeze drying has a lot more of a complex process, I guess you could say. The food goes into a vacuum chamber. That chamber is lowered to below freezing temperatures. Then they raise the temperature and pressure slowly. That causes the water, which is now ice because of the freezing temperatures, to break off of the food. Then the air is sucked out of the chamber. Then the water changes from ice to vapor. And then that collects onto the freezing coils, and the rest of the food is what's left, basically. This removes 99% of the water. I keep moving this around. So it's a more effective way. Typically, freeze-dried food lasts longer than dehydrated food. Like if you take the same food and dehydrate it versus freeze dry it, the freeze dried is going to last longer. And this is why. It's the process of it. So as you can see, food storage is so much more than rice and beans. Because of freeze drying and dehydration, we can store meat, we can store milk, we can store yogurt, cheese, fruits, vegetables. It's so much more than rice, beans, and wheat. So if that's where your head is at, get out of that place, because we have been blessed to live in a time where we have a lot of options. So I'm going to go over freeze dried versus dehydrated, because there are some pros and cons to both, and I want you to see those. So freeze dried food is full of flavor. It locks in the flavor. Dehydrated food, I don't want to call it bland, but in comparison to freeze dried, dehydrated food is typically more bland because the dehydration process eliminates a lot of the flavor from the heat. Freeze-dried food is more light and airy. It is still crunchy, but it's a light and airy crunch. As you can see here, it's not shriveled up and like curled. It keeps its same form, where dehydrated food over here on the right is more of like the curled, and you can tell it's gonna bite more like a chip. So that's the difference just in texture of freeze-dried versus dehydrated. If you soak dehydrated food in water, it sometimes will never soften up. I mean, eventually it will, but it takes sometimes hours, where freeze-dried food, when you add water to it, it reconstitutes very quickly, sometimes in under a minute, depending on the food and the density of it and all that. But there's a big difference when you just bite into the food. Freeze-dried is lighter. Remember, dehydrated food, it only removes about 90% of the water. Freeze-dried food removes 99% of the water. That is one of the reasons that freeze-dried food is so much lighter than dehydrated. So this typically isn't a big deal if you're storing it in boxes on the floor, like in a cold storage room or under a bed. But if you're storing it like on the top shelf of a closet, I keep definitely freeze-dried stuff up there, because it's just so much lighter. The shelf isn't going to break, and it's easier to hoist, to lift up. Like seriously, some of this food you can do like with one hand, a whole box, a 6-pack of number 10 cans. It's very light. Freeze-dried food is typically more expensive because of the process. It's just a more expensive process. It's a more expensive machine that does it. And it's a lot longer and more labor intensive. There's a lot more steps to freeze drying than dehydrating food. Freeze dried food is healthier because it freezes it. They flash freeze the food to preserve all of the nutrients and everything. And so that locks in the vitamins and nutrients, where the dehydration sucks it out again with the heat. So I want to talk just for a second. I think Nat is on here. He is. Nat, if you want to unmute in a sec, I'm giving you a heads up. I know that he has a freeze dryer. So I did want to just recognize, he's giving me a thumbs up. I do want you to just recognize that there is the option of freeze drying in your home. You can freeze dry yourself. You can buy a freeze dryer and you can do this on your own. The pros are, once you buy the equipment, it can be free if you grow your own food. So there's a lot of ifs there for my first bullet of free. That's why I put ish. The machine is very expensive. It's a lot of money, and you do still have to have food to put into the machine. So if you garden and if you live on a lot of land and you grow a lot of your own food, then, you know, this might be appealing to you. For me, I've got to go to a grocery store to buy the food, and then I would have to buy the machine, you know, and all of that. So, but another pro is you would get a wider variety of food. You don't have to be dependent on another company and choosing from their options. You can freeze dry whatever you want to. And of course, if you have a garden and you have excess, instead of throwing it away or, you know, giving it to neighbors, you could actually preserve that for your own future. So those are the pros. The cons are the initial investment, as I mentioned, the space. They are not small. It's, Nat can speak to this, but I would call it like not quite as big as an oven, but you know, like it's a whole thing. It's a whole contraption. So space, of where to put it, time. It is a very time consuming process and you have to do a lot of work. You are prepping the food. I'll let Nat speak to that. Weight if he wants to. And then other materials, you do then need to have something to put your freeze dried stuff in. Like if you're ordering it from a company, it's going to come in a can already sealed. So after freeze drying it, you've also got to then keep it in its form. Now, do you want to unmute and tell us anything you want to tell us about DIY freeze drying?
So freeze dryer is about the size of a mini fridge.
Okay.
And most people keep it on like a sturdy counter or a cart. You have to buy the cart extra. You do the prep work. It's basically the same prep work if you're going to process it in any other way. You chop up whatever you're doing. Smaller pieces tend to go faster than big chunks, but it is a long process. It depends on what it is. So some things are like overnight. Some things are 2 days. It depends on how much moisture is in there and how basically condensed that moisture is in there. What were the other questions?
I've got one. So just to give us an idea, do you have the bigger one?
I have, I think, 5 trays.
Okay, so you have the big one. So how much food can you do at one point? Because you have to single layer it, right? So like how much food can you
I don't know exactly how much. We did like 12 a dozen eggs at one time. Yeah, you can do quite a bit of food, and you process it and then you package it right away. We do mostly Mylar because if you let it sit, especially in a humid environment, it's going to soak up the moisture. And then there was a question in the chat about food. I don't have a link for food, but basically you want to avoid like really fatty things, like fats and basically like sugars don't do really great in the freeze dryer, but a little bit is fine. Most meals you can just freeze dry as they are and then package them up and then reconstitute them later. We really like the freeze dryer. My two favorite things for food storage are my freeze dryer and my freezer. The freezer is like next best to fresh foods because you can put all your produce in there, your vegetables, fruit, meat, dairy, all the stuff you can put in the freezer. The freeze dryer just dries it, makes it available for long-term storage for decades if you need it. But we also, the cost is like the barrier for the freeze dryer. We also did the freeze-dried candy and fruit and sold them at farmers markets. In our state, the cottage laws allow us to do candy and fruit without any licensing or inspections. We just have labeling requirements, but that helped us to offset some of the cost. So we did some time commitment, dedicated some time to doing the candy and fruit, and then sold those at farmers market and make some of that money back.
Awesome. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you for your input. So if you are wanting to do your own or look into that, I would definitely recommend. Nat is the preparedness guy. I've tagged him several times. I will send that. I'm going to write that down. I'll add that to the email that I send out later because he, you know, I don't do my own stuff. I never will. I guess never say never, but I don't think that I ever will. And so he's your guy if you want to look into DIY freeze drying because he shows his stuff on Instagram and stuff and it's really fun. And I love that creative aspect of, you know, selling what you have. You do have to be careful, but like he said, in his state, he's able to sell at farmers markets without, you know, a lot of red tape. So you could look into that. Okay. So another note before we get into like where to purchase and stuff, pre-done packages. There are pre-done packages out there. I know that Costco sells them sometimes. Like I said, depending on where you live in the United States, you might even see them in stores. The pros to these are they're quick and easy. There's very little thought required because you're just buying one thing and someone else has thought about it for you. Usually there's also a price break in there. So, you know, they're going to say, you know, if you bought all these cans individually, it would cost this much, but it only costs this much if you buy the pack. So those are the pros for it. The cons with those are you get what you get. There's no choice in that, both the variety and the quantity. So even if it's got all the right foods, you can't say, well, but my family would eat way more cans of strawberries than blackberries. You don't get that option. And then the other con to this that I would just caution you on is it's not comprehensive. You're missing stuff. So it's fine to get a pre-done package to save some money, but don't let that be your only thing and think that you're good. I think sometimes that those provide us a false sense of security because it's like, oh, I did this package that's recommended by this professional company, so they must know. And it says it'll feed 2 people for this many months or whatever. And you really want to be careful with that. I'm not saying that they're a bad idea, but you might be interpreting that very differently from the reality. Most of the time when they're quoting that, it's 2 meals a day and they're pretty skimpy portions, which is fine. Could you survive? Yes. But are you used to typically eating at least double that amount of food? Yes. So just it's not all what it seems a lot of the time. And I'm not saying that I mean, you got to look at them as a company. They're not lying either. So it's not like they're necessarily being sketchy, but I just want to make sure that like you're aware of what you're getting. These multi-packs often have a lot of the basics in them, a lot of the dry stuff like wheat and rice and beans, and those are things that in my opinion could be stored a lot cheaper by using things like Mylar bags or bucketing. And so if you're a one and done and you just want to, have someone else do the thinking for you, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of that stuff, if you look at it and if you're looking at a variety of different food preservation options, I typically would not buy my dried goods in number 10 cans. It's just not as cost effective. Yeah. And I'd rather do it my own for cheaper. So that is just one thing I wanted to touch on. So there are lots of companies out there. I am not going to tell you that you should buy from Thrive. That's not my job here. That's not why I'm doing this. But I do know the most about Thrive Life because that is who I purchase most of my stuff from. I am very honest. If you're on my email list, if you follow me on Instagram, I'm very honest about what I like from them and what I don't. I do not hold back. If I don't like something, if something has a weird texture, whatever, I let you know. So you know that you're getting honesty from me. But one thing that I will be honest about is I don't price match every single can that I get. It's not about price to me when I'm sharing Thrive. I'm not saying that they are the best deal. And so I'm going to go into that now as to why I use Thrive. But there are a lot of other different companies, and I do typically buy from Thrive or the LDS church. You do not have to be a member of the church to purchase stuff from them. I only have a couple things that I purchase from them, but I do like those things better than Thrive. And I tell you that every time it comes up on a sale. If their mashed potatoes are on a sale, I say, don't get these. I don't like them. I actually like the churches better and they're half the price. So I'm very real with you. But there are some more things to consider than just price. And so I want to lay those out for you. First is nutrition. So they harvest their food at its nutritional peak. They have specific vetted farmers that they work with. They are not officially organic. A lot of their farmers are certified organic, but since all of them are not, they cannot advertise that. So that's why you won't see the organic, anywhere on their stuff, but it's very close to organic as far as, whatever. There's a lot of nuance there. And there's a lot of, if this farmer has quality food and a quality product, but they don't want to pay the money to get certified as organic, or they don't want to jump through those hoops, then that doesn't stop Thrive from using them, basically, is how I would explain it. So on the left column here, they harvest their food at its nutritional peak. They flash freeze it within 2 to 3 hours. That's a promise. And it's typically done right on the farm. So they're maintaining that freshness right there. Then it gets to Thrive Life and they do their freeze drying stuff right there. And they package it right there and ship it to your home. So from here to here is very quick. When you're buying fresh produce at a grocery store, it's picked, it's transported, it's packaged, it's transported again, oftentimes. It sits in a warehouse, cold storage, but it's sitting somewhere. Then it's artificially ripened. Did you guys know that? Some food is artificially ripened. I didn't even know that until I started looking at food storage. Then it's transported again to the grocery store. Then it sits on the shelf at the grocery store. So this is, I know it's hard to wrap your brain around, but freeze-dried food, depending on who you buy it from, is like 20 days fresher than something at your grocery store that you're buying fresh, right? So that's a biggie. It's huge. And you can immediately tell it. You can taste it with the flavor of this stuff. So nutrition's a big deal. Again, I can't speak for other companies and their processes, but I know that Thrive's is incredibly, incredibly strict, and they reject food all the time. They have, I don't know, I think I have it on here somewhere, but they have like 48 checkpoints or something. It's incredible how many checkpoints they have that their food has to pass before getting to the freeze drying process. Freshness, we kind of already went over that with that. Everything is locked in. So it's not just the freshness in the flavor, but it's the vitamins, nutrients, everything is locked in there, and they use no preservatives whatsoever. Their service is really good. When you get, again, I can't speak for other companies. I'm not saying other companies don't do this, but I do know that Thrive is excellent about replacing dented cans. When they're being shipped, stuff gets dented. It's just part of the deal. And it's super easy. I don't even have to talk to anybody. I take a picture of the dented can right there. I shoot it off in an email right from my phone and I say, hey, this can came dented, and they send me a new one for free. And you get to keep the can. So you just scored a free can of food. With that, like, you can't store it for 25 years. The reason they're replacing it is if the food is compromised, they can't guarantee the shelf life that is on, that is attached to that food. And so they will send you a new one, but the food is fine right then. It's not like the food is spoiled or anything. They just can't guarantee that it'll last its full shelf life. So you can open it up and eat it. And now you've tried that food, which is pretty cool. You can share it with friends, you can donate it, whatever you want to do. And then also they are the only food storage company that I know of that works on like a consultant basis. So I'm a consultant, which is different than an affiliate. I have more of a responsibility than just an affiliate. So an affiliate just means you get a small percentage of the sale for recommending and, for bringing a sale to the company. With Thrive Life, I have a responsibility as a consultant to make sure my customers are well informed, to answer any questions that they have so that they're not just left to the internet, to find their answers. And also, if you have a problem, I mean, for dented cans, I encourage you to take care of that, because it's actually just as much work for you to send me the picture and the order number and information as it is for you to just deal directly with the company. But if you do have a problem, if you've got a mega, issue with your order, or your credit card was, something happened with your credit card or something like that, I help you through that because I have access to a different set of customer service people than you do. So service is a biggie with Thrive. And then their monthly delivery service. This is the kicker for me. You know how I said, if you get one thing out of this, I want you to get that you just start. If you get two things out of this, it would be to just start. And this is how you just start. It's through the monthly delivery. So other food storage companies, yes, you can place an order whenever you want to. That's not the issue. I'm not saying that they're the only ones that you can place an order every month. You could do that on your own. What's unique about Thrive is they actually have something called the monthly delivery service. And in my opinion, I look at this not as, some people don't like that about them because they don't want another account to manage. They don't want to have to think about it, right? And like keep up with that every month. For me, that's exactly what I need. And I know that I need that because life is busy and money gets spent. And so for me to get an email once a month from the food storage company that I order from is a reminder that I need to put something in my cart that month and add it to my food storage. So for me, it works beautifully. And for a lot of people, I really believe, like, we have really good intentions of adding to our food storage every month, but we're not going to if we don't get that reminder. So I love it for that reason. And I'm going to show you why you shouldn't be scared of it. So it's free. It does not cost. You're not paying anything to be part of the monthly delivery service. There's no monthly fee, there's no minimum, and there are no requirements whatsoever. You do not have to order every month. There is 15% off that's automatically deducted from your total if you order it under your monthly delivery. So that's huge also. There's a retail price and there's a monthly delivery price. You should never be paying retail for Thrive. Even my customers who place one order, they're like, nope, I don't want to set up an account. I don't want the monthly delivery. I've got several $1,000s right now and I'm going to place one order. I still say, order it on the monthly delivery and you'll get 15% off, and then cancel your monthly delivery immediately. There's no reason not to. It doesn't cost money and you can cancel anytime. So everyone should be ordering under the monthly delivery. The tricky thing is, I'll show you this when I do a screen share of an order. If you add to cart, that's not your monthly delivery. You have to add to your monthly delivery cart. And I'll show you what icon to look for on their website. Monthly delivery customers get free shipping on orders over $99. Other people don't. So again, for even if it's just a one-time order, get the free shipping, place it under a monthly delivery, and then cancel the service if you really want to. You have full control. I will show you this in real time, but you get to choose your ship date. You choose if you want to skip a month. You can skip 10 months. I know a lot of monthly systems, they make you go in to your account every month and skip the month, or else they automatically send you something. With this, if you want to log on and say, I don't want to order until next January or January of 2032, you can do that. You set your next delivery date. So if you don't want to think about it for another 3 months, if you're wanting to order once a quarter, set your delivery date for 3 months from now, and they will send you the reminder email in 3 months. You can cancel anytime online, no hassle. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to call anybody and they're going to try to talk you into it. You just cancel it online. And you choose what goes into your delivery. I think that the name monthly delivery service makes people think, oh, they choose what I'm getting. No, it's like I said, it's simply a reminder to order your food storage that month. That's what the monthly delivery service is. With one caveat, if you don't change your monthly delivery service date to later than next month, they're going to email you 5 days before your order ships. And if you haven't canceled or postponed, and if you haven't added anything different to your cart, they will autofill your cart with the last month's order. Does that make sense? So if I ordered a case of milk today and I didn't do anything, I didn't ever log on to Thrive Life again, I would get another case of milk next month and my credit card would be charged. However, if I go in anytime between now and then and change that date to a later date, it's not going to ship me that case of milk. And they always send you an email, which is coming next, I think. Yeah. So they always send you a reminder email 5 days before your order processes, which is plenty of time to log on and skip the month, change the ship date, adjust what's in your cart. I always do that because I always shop the sales. So, but you can, if you are the type who does want to order every month, but you don't want to have to log on every month and choose your food, you can set up your next year's worth of orders right now today if you want. You just can't anticipate what's going to be on sale and what's not. And I am a bargain shopper, so I don't do that, but some people will do that. They don't care about the sales. They just want to have an order placed every month, and they're going to go in there and choose what they want shipped every month, and then they can forget about it. So you really do whatever you want to do. You can choose ship now if you're worried items are going out of stock. So on sales like this, I do recommend that you find what you want, add it to your monthly delivery, and then instead of waiting for your delivery to process on whatever day you have it, I just ship now during a sale that's, you know, that's only going for 5 days or whatever. Okay, every month there are monthly specials only available to monthly delivery customers. So these have sale items. This is August's flyer here, and they have a specials pantry can pack. I'll talk about the can sizes in a minute, where it's one of everything. Sometimes they'll put two of everything in there, and it's a little bit more discounted. This month they have a fruit and veggie can pack. Strawberry slices, 30% off. So what that means, this 30%, I want to be clear on this just so that you understand it. 15% of that is the automatic 15% that you get for being a monthly delivery customer. So you're not getting 30% off on top of the 15%. A lot of people don't understand that. Even a lot of consultants don't understand that. And they say, look, strawberries are 45% off because you're getting 30% off and you get 15% off. They've already put that 15% off in. So I just want to make that clear. So the things that are 25% off, they're really only 10% off more than what you would get any other month because you're always getting 15% off. Okay. I already said that. I just did that example. Fabulous. On top of the monthly specials, there are sales every year. And the sales typically are like it's like a monthly special on steroids. It's usually a couple pages of items, and there's typically a few big hitters, like a much deeper discount. So monthly specials usually are 20, 25, or 30% off. And these sales, there's usually a couple items that are 50% off, and it goes down from there. They do typically for a year. I can't promise these. I'm not, I don't have any like special insight on this, but they typically do a New Year's one that comes mid-January, early to mid-January. There's usually a spring sale in April, a back to school sale in late August, and a Black Friday sale, which is obviously in November. So they do typically have 4 big sales a year. The back to school sale is starting today. So that's why I wanted to do this webinar, because often these big, huge sales are when people get started because there's so many great deals. So I am going to show you another thing that's really unique to Thrive Life, and that is their pantry cans. I'm going to stop sharing my screen in just a minute, but I'm going to show you this first. So they're quite a bit smaller than number 10 cans. I have a picture here. I'm going to show you in real life, but I know like angles on these cameras can actually be deceiving sometimes. So this is a real picture of two cans in my house and the difference. So the number 10 can is like a coffee can, and that's normally what food storage comes in. And then Thrive offers the pantry can size, which is unique to Thrive, and I love it for so many reasons. Here are some pictures. This is a pantry can next to a 32-ounce can of tomato sauce, SpaghettiOs, and then this is just a normal soup can. So this is a pantry can, and this is a number 10 can. So there's the size difference. And then I'm just going to hold up these other cans so that you can see here. I mean, I just showed you the pictures, but this is actually like the diameter is the exact same as this big can. It's just a little taller, like barely though, like an inch. So this, a 32-ounce can of tomato sauce is the closest you're going to get to a pantry can. If you're curious for like diameter, same exact. SpaghettiOs are a little bit smaller of a diameter and, a little bit shorter. And then a normal can, I'm going to show you the diameter here. So pantry cans. Don't discount pantry cans if you have a large family. I used to. For years, I didn't order one pantry can. I just thought, no, we've got a bunch of kids. If we're going to open something, we're going to go through it. Pantry cans are not as good of a value, just like you would expect. Things that are in bigger packaging typically are cheaper, right? Like per unit. And it's the same with pantry cans. You're going to pay more per ounce or per cup or however you want to say it in a pantry can than the number 10 can, which by the way, they call family cans, just so that you are familiar with Thrive's lingo. So this is going to be of a better value, but there are a lot of reasons to not discount pantry cans. And I have them written down here because I don't want to forget any. So there's a couple of things right off the bat that I want to show you. The pantry cans have a pop top. So you don't need a can opener. I'll just do it because I love you that much. I'm going to open my can of peas. Okay. So there we go. I can do that anywhere without a can opener. So I love, love, love pantry cans for 72-hour kits. Number one, I don't need a can opener. And number two, they're a lot smaller. You can fit them in it. Even if you need multiple of these, they're easier to fit than these huge number 10 cans, right? So I love these for 72-hour kits. I love the size. There's a decent amount of food in here. If you're going for 3 days, which is what normal 72-hour kits are for, 72 hours, this is my kid's snack. All of us chose our favorite freeze-dried fruit or yogurt bites or whatever it is. And I put one in everyone's pack, and everyone has their own snacks that they can eat whenever they want. They can trade their cans, but they get one snack. I do have a couple extras in case we were to run out and to give variety, but these are awesome for 72-hour kits. And I don't have to rotate it every year, every 6 months. I don't have to rotate it for 25 years. So I love these for 72-hour kits. I already talked about price. You're going to get a better value with the number 10 can. Obviously, this takes up less space in the pantry. So I think when I originally learned about Thrive Life, they were actually called Shelf Reliance. It's because I wanted one of their can rotators. And so I joined as a consultant. And when I started, these were kind of like explained as you would refill these from your number 10 cans and keep these in your pantry because they're just so much more doable in a pantry because they're smaller. So that was the idea when they first started out. And I have just found so many more reasons than that. And actually, I never do that. Like if I have a number 10 can, I just put the number 10 can in my pantry because I have a pretty big pantry. I will admit that. But that is one idea. Just as far as space, you could refill this from here. Personally, my opinion is if you're going to refill something, I would get something airtight. These are not airtight. So they do go stale if you leave them in these cans. And so if I were going to take the time to transfer this, I would be transferring it to like a jar with an airtight lid or something, but that's just me. Another difference in these, there are 10 cans in a case if they're pantry can size. There are 6 in a case if they are this size, the number 10 can. So that just tells you what a case is, and that'll come up again in a few minutes. Family cans are obviously great for larger households with more people. Pantry cans are good if you have less people to maintain freshness. That's the main reason I would say. But I will say this. There are certain things, like I just said, that go stale, get chewy. They don't go bad. They're not going to expire within 3 weeks, but they will lose their freshness and they're going to taste different. Mainly the fruits and some of the vegetables. Peas and corn do really well. They actually stay fresh. I never re-can those. But some of the other stuff, like pretty much all the fruit that I can think of, they get chewy and it's just not as good. So if you're not wanting to re-put them into a different airtight container that you have in your home, then I recommend getting most of your fruits and some of your vegetables in pantry cans because you will go through them quick enough to where they're not going to go stale or get chewy. So keep that in mind. If you're willing to pay, if you're willing to pay the price to keep stuff fresh, I would get the pantry cans. If you're not, then just know that once you open these, I would just immediately transfer it to another container. If you know you're not going to go through it, you might as well keep it all fresh and start it off fresh. Every single can does come with one of these lids and it works for a time, but it's not airtight. Okay. I want to stop and see if you have any questions to this point.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So just about things maintaining freshness. I know you talked about the fruits and vegetables can go stale. What about other, I'm sorry if you just said this, but
no, I didn't.
If I bought it in a big can and wanted to, use as needed, I know you said you'd need to put it in an airtight container, but I don't know, how long would it work if I kept it in an airtight container?
Most of them have a shelf life in the can unopened. And most of those are 25 years. There are exceptions. And then once you open them, most of them say that they last 6 or 12 months, depending on the food.
Okay.
There
are that's helpful, yeah.
Okay. So if you were to transfer it to an airtight container, it should, in theory, last 6 or 12 months, depending
on months. Okay.
If you don't, though, I'm telling you, 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to notice a difference.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm being honest. I'm being real, So if you have a little can of strawberry slices, most households, it's not going to last past 2 weeks anyway. You're fine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where if you have a bigger one and there's only 2 of you, you probably
okay. So that's good to know. Those pantry staples will work for a few months. Like if I get through it in a few months, it's maybe worth it to buy a big one. So okay.
Yes.
Exactly. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And on that note, like if anyone ever has questions, this is part of my job. Like I do try to make myself available. You can DM me on Instagram and ask. I answer questions like that all the time. Email me and ask whatever. Like that's part of my promise to you. And I'll be honest, like if I haven't tried that or tried that food or tried it with that food, I'll tell you, but I would give you my best guess too. So yeah, great question. There are a couple meats, pulled pork and something else it says to use within 2 weeks of opening. And I'm like, what? Why? It's like the most random thing ever. And I don't know why, but pulled pork and I think it's shrimp I think it was the ground turkey. I don't know. I will send out today a handout with some notes from today. I already have it made. I will also send out a shelf life handout, like a shelf life printable for you. And so you will be getting those in an email. So I will leave you with some resources here later today when we're done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? I'm going to share my screen because I want to show you what this looks like on the back end. When you get to the Thrive website, first of all, if you are a new person, if you're a new customer, if you just go to thrivelife.com, they're going to assign you to a random consultant. So if you want me to be your consultant, you would need to go to melaniepapworth.thrivelife.com to make sure that you are linked to me. So again, I'll send that out in the email. You don't need to go there now or anything. And just to be completely honest, someone is going to make a small commission off of your orders. It's either going to be me or some random consultant that they assign. So you're not going to hurt my feelings. If you would rather be rerouted to somebody else, I just can't speak to their, to their communication. So just FYI. Okay, when you get to the website, this little shop tab has some different areas here. And the sale items are always in their own category, and the monthly specials. Usually this sale column isn't even here because usually there isn't a sale going on. The monthly specials is always here. So I'm going to show you what a normal month would look like. I'm just going to click right there because I like to shop the sales. So I'm not going to look at their whole thing. I'm just going to look at the August specials. So here's the things that are on a better deal this month than other months. You can do a quick shop here. Pantry can is going to be the first thing that's selected. That is the small ones. So I'm just giving you some tips that people don't realize when they're placing their orders, when they're not used to it. Even I sometimes still do that, where I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about it, and I ordered pantry cans. I meant to order family cans. So pantry cans are the small ones. Family cans are the number 10 cans. If you purchase a six pack of family cans, that's a case, or a 10 pack of the pantry cans, you will get an additional 5% off of whatever the price is that month. So if it's something that's not on a special, you would get 20% off rather than 15%. If it's strawberries are already 30% off this month, so you would get 35% off because you're buying it in a pack. So that's why those are separate options. If you just add 10 pantry cans to your order, you're not going to get that additional money off, just FYI. So you want to order packs if you're ordering that many anyway. Now you want to add this to a delivery. Once you have your account set up, it's going to offer for you to add it to your delivery or to your cart. You want to add it to your delivery. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to bring this in because I don't know if it's showing you to the very edges of the screen. So do you see this little guy here, this truck, delivery truck? That is your delivery cart. This shopping cart is your normal cart. You never want to order anything from a shopping cart unless it's a can rotator. Those things are not available on monthly delivery. That's the only time you should be dealing with a normal shopping cart. Everything else you want added to this truck. So when you add something to your cart, if you have a question, just go and click on your truck and make sure you're ordering under your truck. That's very important. That's how you're going to get the deals. So you can do the quick shop, or if you click on this, on the actual, why is it not going? Picture of the strawberries. You'll get like the full thing, just like with any other website if you're doing the quick shop versus not. This is going to give you a little more information. This is the quick shop stuff, but now you can see these different pictures. And I just wanted to show you that the label is available to you anytime. You don't have to have the can to see what's on the label. So if you're curious about anything about reconstituting directions or serving sizes or anything like that, you can find them yourself on the website. You just have to not do the quick shop. You have to click on the actual item. But I wanted to show you that. Now, if I want to add, let's say I want to add a pantry can. If I don't, for whatever reason, want to order under the monthly delivery, I would choose retail here. But that's a horrible idea. You want the monthly delivery. Make sure monthly delivery is checked. That's always going to be orange. Retail is green. You want the orange. And I'm going to add it to my delivery. I can choose to add this to any of my deliveries, by the way. It doesn't have to be to my very next one. So if I want to shop for January of 2024, I can do that. I can add it to my January order. It's weird that my next one is October 26th. I do tutorials on here all the time. I'll do a quick video or whatever. And so that's why. Okay, here's my October 26th delivery. So I have a pantry can 10 pack of cauliflower and a 10 pack of mushroom pieces. I'm ordering those both in the smaller cans personally because I don't use mushrooms that often, but they're awesome when I need them. And the cauliflower is only available in that. They are phasing out cauliflower and I really like it. So I'm buying a case of those. And they do get stale though. So I would have ordered pantry cans anyway. So that's my October 26th order. Okay. I can click ship now anytime I want. When I do that, it will ask me if I want to update all of my following orders or if I want to keep them the same. So what that means is if I ship now, it's going to it's going to move all of my other orders to 1 month out in 1 month increments from today. If I click don't change my future orders, I only want to ship now for this one, but I want all the other ones to stay on the same dates as they already are. My next one won't be until November 26th, which means I won't get an email until November 21st. And my order won't be placed until November 26th, unless I go in and edit that between now and then, just to tell you how that works. Now, if I didn't want to click ship now, but I wanted this to ship tomorrow, I just click on this little calendar here, and I'm going to back this up here to August 24th. Do you see this? Update all future shipments. Yeah, I want to get back on track of ordering every month. So right now, this is now scheduled for tomorrow. I can log out and leave it and it will process tomorrow. My credit card will be charged and it will ship soon after that. And up here is my next order. So I can click on September 24th and it will show me my next order. Now, I don't have anything in here because I don't know what the September specials are going to be, but it does give me this warning here. It will auto-populate my last order if I don't come in here before September 24th and update it. So I can either skip this month, I can pause or cancel my delivery service, or I can just go up here and change it. Or I can leave it as is. For me, I'm going to leave it as is because I'm very diligent about coming and checking and ordering the specials that month. It's something that I am very micromanaging. So I'm going to leave this, and I'm not worried about them auto-populating it. I'm never going to let it get to that. But if you are, these are some options, or you could add some stuff right now that you know that you eventually want as a buffer, just in case you forget to come back, or you miss the email and you're on vacation 5 days before your next shipment or whatever. You could at least keep something in your cart that you eventually want, whether it's on sale or not. And that could be kind of like your buffer. So there are many different ways that you can do this and manage this. Do you have to purchase a certain dollar amount each month, or do you just get to order however much you want? That's a really great question. There is no minimum. However, you get free shipping over $99. So, and it will actually tell me that. Let me go back to my August 24th shipment here. They have this little bar here. If you're ordering like one can at a time, a lot of people will have orders just barely over 99. They'll mix and match cans from the sale to get barely over $99 so that they can get the free shipping, and it keeps track of that for you right here on this bar. But no, you can certainly, I think shipping is like $7 or $8 usually. If it's under $100, if you live in the US, maybe I've paid 13 before. I can't remember, but yeah. So no minimums. Okay. Change the date, change that. You can add items straight from here. So you don't have to go up to the shop tab if you don't want to, but if you click on add items, it's going to take you to this page. So you're still going to want to pick a category. So we could shop the back to school sale and go that route. Look, now it's working quickly. Okay. So I'm going to go click on my delivery truck to get back to my delivery. And I want to show you this too, Thrive Credit. So Thrive Credit is something I'm not going to show you because my account page will also have like personal stuff on it. But once you set up a Thrive account, you will have a refer a friend link. You don't have to be a consultant. That's not for consultants. That's for just friends. You can share your link with families, friends, neighbors, whoever. And if they're a new customer, if they've never ordered from Thrive, if Thrive has no record of them anywhere in their system, you will receive 10% of their order in Thrive credit for bringing them to the company. It's a one-shot deal. They only give it to you on their first order. If you want to continue to make money, like real money off of their orders, you would need to join as a consultant. But it's just a way for you to refer your friends and talk about it with people without having to commit to anything. You're not a consultant. You literally share a link, and Thrive credit will show up in your account. So as you can see here, I have a Thrive credit balance of $162. So that means I have had friends who've ordered for the first time order $1,621 worth of food. Does that make sense? That's why I have that credit right there. So I can apply it all in one order if I want to. Since my total is over that, I can apply it all and it will change my total. So my total was $276.60 and now I'm only going to pay $114. Pretty cool. So takes really no effort to just share your link. I've had some people use their refer a friend link and put it just on Instagram and Facebook. Put it out there. Say, hey, if you're interested. And the cool thing is it links them to me. So you can say, and here's the girl that I asked my questions to. If you have questions, go to her. Don't ask me, I'm new at this, So really it takes the pressure off of you because you have a consultant who, hopefully you have a consultant. If it's not me and it's someone else, that's fine. But hopefully you have a consultant who will take care of your friend then. And so it really is no problem for you. Do the large sale items 40 to 50% off change with the different sales throughout the year? Typically, yes. There were 2 in a row last year that had milk, and it was crazy. It was weird. They had like a super surplus of milk. And so they had milk on sale twice, and it was a heavy hitter both times. I think it was 50% off both times. But usually the big hitters change. Great question on the sales. So that's how you manage your monthly delivery. If you have questions about that, I know that it can be confusing and it feels a little, I don't know the word, not scary, but it's like, oh, do I want to add this one thing? It really is super easy. And if you are on my email list, just put your delivery date towards the end of the month. I mean, today is towards the end of the month already, right? We're at August 23rd. So even if you order today and you don't change your dates, your auto shipment is going to be on the 23rd of every month after that. And so keep it there. You'll not only hear from the company 5 days before your order ships, you'll get an email, but I will be talking about it. I will be sending an email with you can use my email as an earlier reminder because I typically try to include the specials in the first email of the month. So if you're on my email list and you're getting my emails, you're going to be reminded then. If you follow me on Instagram, obviously we can't promise, anything on social media, but if you're seeing my stuff on Instagram, that will be another place that you'll be reminded of it in stories. And I always do a post on it. Just don't be afraid of it. There's ample opportunities for you to be reminded to go check your thing. And you can always set a reminder on your phone, every whatever, put it in your calendar. There's ways to do it. And it's just so great because you get so much food that you just wouldn't have had you not been doing it regularly. There's another question. Just place my order while Mel was talking. Super quick and easy. That's Audra. She's awesome. She's not new. Okay, it really is. It's so quick, it's so easy, and it's so awesome. I will say, open your boxes when you get them. Just since you're here, I'm going to go over this impromptu. Open your boxes and check out your cans. Check them for dents. So I take off the lid, I check the top. I also run my hand around it. Sometimes you won't see it. Check the bottom, run your hand around it, and then there is one side seam on every can. It's not going to line up with the side of the label, you know? So this side seam, that's what matters. So I run my can. If I feel like there might be something, I just rip the label off so that I can inspect it. If it's dented somewhere like here, even if it's a big dent, your food is not compromised. It's just not. There's no seal around that dent and it's totally fine. So they're not going to replace that. But if any of the seals, that's why I check around the whole lid, the whole top, the whole bottom, and the side seam. If any of that is dented, the seal is compromised and you'll get a free one. So even if you're just, I mean, I stick most of this stuff under our beds or in our closets. So it's kind of a pain because when it comes, I would love to just label it and throw it in the closet, but I do open it and check all the cans before I do that. And I would highly recommend that you do that because you only have so many days. Like they're not going to honor it if you tell them 2 years later when you open a can that it was dented. So if you, you know, to me, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth checking on your investment before you shove it in a closet or whatever. So I would recommend doing that. I have some tips for you. I'm going to go back to a screen share. Any questions? You can screenshot this or this is going to be on the attachment that I send in the email today. So either way, but you feel free to screenshot this. I'm just a real big bargain shopper. So I would want all the things listed out. So if you want the most for your money, order under the monthly delivery service every single time. Because of that, you're going to get 15% off. And you're also going to get, I should have put 99 there, free shipping on orders over $99. So if you want to maximize your dollars, you would order over 99 bucks. Shop the monthly delivery specials. If you purchase a case, you get an additional 5% off and then capitalize on the annual sales. So if I'm ordering under the monthly delivery service and I order a case of something that's also over $99 that's on a special, that's the best deal I'm going to get. So, and that's usually how I shop. I usually shop by the case, always over 99 bucks. And I rarely buy something that isn't on sale or special. So that's how I do it. And I've got a lot of food storage and a big variety. So now my tip at the beginning of this was just start, right? Eventually you're going to get to a point where you're going to want to kind of like pay attention, right, to what you have so that you aren't just ordering random stuff. If strawberries go on sale every 3 months and you're always ordering strawberries because they're on sale, you know, eventually you're going to want to switch that tactic a little bit. But for now, just getting started and getting in the habit and capitalizing on huge sales that are happening, I would highly encourage you, if you are on the fence, to jump in. And if something changes financially for you, it's completely fluid. It's completely flexible. So that's just if money matters to you. And then I do have just some things here. This is also, all this information is on, I will email this out, but just so that you know, I have free resources for you on this topic. I publish a blog post at the beginning of every month with my thoughts on that. So I have tried most of the food by now and I have thoughts and I share them with you, good, bad, and the ugly. So I always put them as planforawesome.com/ and then the name of the month. So this month's specials are August. I have a separate one for this month that's planforawesome.com/ thrive sale. And that will always be the last big sale that they had, or the current one if they have it. So, you know, that page just changed to this big one. So you can go read exactly what I think in case you missed my Instagram stories or you're not on Instagram or whatever. And then you can also get on your email, on my email list, which you should be if you signed up for this. So stay on that. And I will also send the specials out to you there. And then Instagram. I do a lot of price breakdowns on Instagram of like, here's how much a serving is, here's how many servings are in a can, here's what that costs per cup, for instance. I deal with cups because that's what my brain thinks in. I don't think in servings or ounces. I think in cups. So I give it to you in cups because that's how our brains, that is a quantifiable, you know, amount. And then I have a lot of stories and reels on how I reconstitute them and use these foods in meals. I usually will make a highlight also on Instagram so that if you missed the stories or if I have old posts that show those same foods that are on sale, I try to get those in the stories towards the beginning of the month. I haven't done anything for this month's big sale items, so I will be getting on that later today. And then I have 2 offers here on the right that I don't have advertised anywhere really. I just say it in settings like this, or if I'm doing like a presentation somewhere or whatever, I will help you do a one and done order. And I will work with you, and that is free. Like my time is free to help you. I have a 1-page questionnaire that you fill out about your family's preferences and what your goals are and all of that. And we can talk on Marco Polo if you want to be involved in the decision making. If you would rather me just tell you what I would get with your budget based on your answers, I will do that. And that my time is free with a minimum of a $5,000 order. if you're wanting to just do a bulk thing and have someone help you. If you want to build it slow and steady, but you are just a planner and you want help making that plan and you can't just order what's on special, but you want to have a plan, then I will help you create that. I would use Excel on that and work with you on that. I would need some input from you. And so that is $100 an hour of Marco Polo and my time working on your plan for you. So those are things if you want someone to kind of hold your hand through the process, regardless of your approach. But really, I have so many free resources that those things are not necessary. That's just if you've got the money and you just don't want to spend the time. Those are options for you. So that is all I have for you. Do you have questions? You're welcome. Which sale is better, back to school or monthly? Back to school. Back to school, because it is one of those four sales a year that they do. So the monthly sales are going to have things that are 20, 25, and 30% off. The back to school sale has a couple 50s, couple 45s, quite a few things that are 40% off, 35s. So when you get down to the 30% offs, that is usually the best deal on a monthly special. So the back to school special, absolutely, I would shop that right now if I were you. Would anyone like me to stay on? Like, are you going to create an account or?
Melanie, what about that basic emergency kit that was at the bottom of that second page of August specials? It said it was new.
It's brand new, so I don't have it. So I will tell you what I've tried from this. So Thrive used to have, they've morphed. Like they've gone back and forth with pre-done meals, basically, like Mountain House, you know? So it's like a pouch of a pre-done meal and you just add water. And so this, they have now put, just like Mountain House does, Mountain House sells buckets of pre-done meal packs like that. They are offering that now in a bucket. I haven't even done a price breakdown of if this is a better deal than if you bought them individually. I'm assuming it is, but I haven't even looked at it yet. It says it comes with 2 blueberry oatmeal, 2 breakfast skillets, 2 cheesy chicken, 2 creamy beef with rotini pasta, 2 creamy mashed potato bowls, and 2 Southwest style chickens. And it's $155.82. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 packs of food. I don't have any in here. They're in my kitchen because I'm actually currently trying them. I just made the breakfast skillet and it's awesome. It's scrambled eggs, sausage, diced potatoes, and then like a couple, you know, there's like a little red thing, probably red bell peppers or something. I don't know what's in it. I didn't even look. I just made it and all of my kids ate it and they all liked it. And I have some very picky teenagers. If they see that it's food storage, they refuse. And I forced them. I was like, no, I need your opinions on this because I don't want to only go off of mine. Like, you know, because this is new and I need to start talking about it and telling people when they ask. And all of them really liked it. So, but blueberry oatmeal, that I can just tell you, like, I think that that's going to be met because I'm not a huge oatmeal fan. You know what I mean? I have tried the cheesy chicken, really good. That was a meal that my entire family ate. I made a couple packs of it and made them all eat it for dinner and they ate it and they liked it. So I think that their meals are good, but I haven't tried them all. Those are the only 2 out of this bucket. They also just sell them in packs. So let me do a quick screen share again. I'm really sorry. I keep going back and forth. I should just leave it on here. So this is the bucket that she's talking about. I will send this flyer to you in an email later today. This is the bucket that she's talking about. I also will just mention they sell these chef packs. They're at the bottom of this first page. And they basically hand pick some stuff and give you some recipes that you could make using these ingredients. So this ground beef chef pack, ground beef is obviously the protein in it. And the included recipes are hearty calzone, Italian baked penne, loaded refried beans, shepherd's pie, weeknight tacos, and vegetable medley. So if you want to try cooking with several items and just kind of see what it would be like, they have these pre-done packs. I've never made any of their recipes. Well, that's not true. I made them years ago and I was like, I'd rather just throw these ingredients in my own recipes and make my own recipes that I know that we love. And that's what's so cool about this is you can do that because it's real ingredients. So I don't really depend on their recipes very much because I'd rather just use my tried and trues and throw in the reconstituted freeze-dried stuff. So that's mainly how I use this. So I've never done a chef's pack, but it is kind of a cool option. It's a great idea. I can't speak to their recipes. Like I tried their recipes 15 years ago. So yeah, that basic emergency kit is the one she was talking about. And then here's August specials. They're tacked on at the end, but see, so the highest one is 25% off, 30% off, 25, 25, 25, 25. These pantry can systems are on sale as well. These, I'm not going to lie, like this is not your only chance to get these on sale. I feel like these go on sale every few months. So if you're looking at these, but you're not ready, don't feel pressured to jump into this purchase. You could get started on food storage this month and kind of wait. This is more like a monthly special deal. They go 25% off every once in a while. So, but it's still $500, you know, if you're getting a freestanding one. I love mine. I would highly recommend it. I'm not trying to I'm really not trying to talk you out of anything here. I'm just being real with you. Like, these do go on sale. You don't have to jump on this month if you're not ready, but I recommend it 100%. Love it. I have the variety can, so the top fits like normal can sizes. Oh, I'm screen sharing, so you probably can't see this, but anyway, normal cans. And then it goes to like these pantry cans that you see here. It's their pantry cans from Thrive, but it's also canned like the 32-ounce tomato sauce that I showed you that's comparable to the pantry cans. So you can fit normal cans from the grocery store here on these shelves or on this row. And then it has 2 rows of your number 10 cans. So honestly, like when you think about it, if you're thinking about a can rotator, the number 10 cans, that's the perfect amount for me, because I do use a handful of things on a daily basis. I use the chopped onions. I eat their freeze-dried corn for snacks. Like, there are things that I use. We use eggs. We use the egg powder for our baking. So I do buy cases of those things, and I am rotating it. So I don't want to have to go to a closet to get a new one, right? So this makes sense for me, and it's the perfect amount because it's 2 rows. So it's 8 cans, basically. It's 8 different types of food that I'm rotating number 10 cans with, which is about right for Thrive for me. And then I still have a place. I don't really rotate. I think I only have mushrooms in my pantry can size because I don't really rotate other stuff in pantry cans, but I do buy bigger cans from the grocery store of things like tomato sauce. And so that's where I have those. And then my cream of mushroom, cream of chicken, my canned vegetables, things like that. So other people like just the pantry can system, the one on the right, where it's all this or this. So the pantry can system, it doesn't mean that you can't put the smaller cans in there. The smaller cans can go in the pantry can size row. You just can't go vice versa. You can't put a bigger can in a smaller row, but you can put a smaller can in a bigger row. Just FYI. So that pantry can system, if you don't want any number 10 cans in your rotator, you don't need to rotate number 10s, then I would recommend the pantry can system. Honestly, the family can system, I would never buy that unless I had a cold storage room or a basement and I was going to unload all of my cans into a big room like that. But I keep them in boxes on closet shelves and under beds. I don't have room for that, And honestly, if you look at that, there's only 4 rows, because the whole point of a can rotator is you put it in the top and it comes down the bottom. So every can you see, there's only, does that make sense? 2 rows per one type of food. So there's only 4, 8, 12. There's 16 types of food there. And I have a lot more than 16 different types of food in my food storage. So to me, those ones aren't worth it unless I have like a food storage room. But I do love having one can rotator in my house. It's a game changer for my short-term food storage. If you have more questions, send me an email, send me a DM on Instagram. I'm happy to help. And it will be a while for this recording to process and all of that and for me to get it sent out. But in the email, I will also send everything you're going to need. So the information on how to get the best deals, the offers that the resources I have for you, the monthly special, all of it. So look for an email later today. Okay.
When you're done, you can wrap up so people can go, but I just want to ask you one question, but you can go ahead.
Okay. I'm done. I'm wrapped up. Leave, everybody. We will keep talking. Stay on if you want, but you can leave. You're not going to miss anything except for Chantel's question. Thanks for being here, everybody. Okay. What's your
Thank
question?
you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm brand new with this. I've been wanting to try Thrive for about a year, but I'm going to actually do it. I'm excited. I'm glad I saw your email this morning about this and hopped on. So yeah, excited to sign up and get going. But so here's my questions, because I know it's probably a basic question, but I thought it'd be easier to ask you than
totally into yes, that's what I'm here for.
Online to figure it out. So when you suggested, like the onion and corn, you said you use those all the time, and I could see me using those all the time too. You said don't buy them on the thing today because it was less than 30%. Is that right? Were you saying?
Well, so what
it'll come up on a monthly thing and be higher? Is that okay? So
no, it won't be higher
by month.
It won't be higher than that, but it will come up again. So I should have clarified. Shoot. So what I'm saying is, like, if you have a budget of $200, and you really want the onions, but you also really want cinnamon apple slices that are 40% off, and you also want a lot of the bigger hitters. I'm just saying, once you get down to the 30%, it's like nothing. Like any other monthly special.
I bet other people understood that. Yeah, I'm just there's a 2-year-old here and a baby, so I'm like trying to listen, but it's harder. So that makes sense.
No, those are great.
I was like,
deals.
Wait, but this seems like a good deal. So no,
it is. It is. I'm just saying, if you're limited on your budget and you're having to prioritize, you can
wait. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. Perfect. So that's good to know. Okay. Because that would be something I'd love to grab today. So awesome.
Oh my gosh, the onions change your life.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited.
Will change your life. Like, I have not bought a fresh onion in years.
Oh, that's incredible.
Years.
That's
it's
so
amazing.
Awesome. Thanks for explaining about that sale. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All right. I'm going to log off. I will send you an email later today. Thanks for coming, everyone.